We're going to head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason, this one with a trade idea.
I wanted your thoughts on the following idea. I think we should wait and see on Baker. It seems like the best option for next year. But we should do all we can do in free agency to build the wide receiver room. But since this draft is deep at the wide receiver position, and the 2023 draft is not, how about trading this year's number 13 pick for a 2023 first rounder and a day 2 pick this year? That will give the Browns 4 day 2 picks in 2022, and we could pick up a decent receiver like the caliber of Sky Moore or somebody like that, or maybe trade for Calvin Ridley. But then we'd still have draft picks to do what we had planned to do with the other positions like defensive line. The main reason is that I think that would give enough draft capital next year if Baker didn't work out, and provide the flexibility to go get a quarterback, whether it's in the draft or a trade. Just want to know what you think. Thanks.
All right, as always, appreciate the voicemails. And Scott, I understand where the voicemailer is going with trying to get multiple first-round picks in the event you have to try to go and get a quarterback next year. I don't know this is the year to do it, and the reason is you feel pretty good about this roster, and you don't want to trade away. 13 should be somebody that impacts this roster pretty significantly, I think.
Yeah, but it's an interesting thought. It really is, because if you don't have your long-term answer quarterback, you're not going to get it drafting in the, you might not even get it at 13 some years, right? But you're not going to get it drafting at 22 or 26, usually at least. So I understand that thought process. Now it would have to be coupled with finding receivers other ways, right? You have to maybe stock up on veterans in free agency as opposed to relying on the draft. You would have to bring in the backup quarterback, like you mentioned, a Mariota or a Bridgewater, or Trubisky, even though it sounds like he's going to get a starting job somewhere. Somebody to push Baker so you don't have to rely on a rookie to do it this year, right? You have to have kind of your other bases covered in order to do it. But he's right. If you're going to try to get a top, 5 or a quarterback in the top 5 or 8 of the draft, you need multiple first-round picks to be able to do that.
Yeah, and Calvin Ridley, obviously the voicemailer called earlier today before Ridley was suspended for gambling, so that's not an option. What about Sky Moore? That's a guy that we heard kind of rose up. Some people locally liked him and had them in their mock drafts to the Browns later. Sounds like he's kind of flying up draft boards.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think he is. It's just a matter of what's the sweet spot, right? You try not to reach for a guy, but if you really want him, can you count that he'll be there later? It's going to be interesting what they do with this receiver room, because I don't think they're tied to a body type, right? I mean, really, the only certainties are Donovan Peoples-Jones and Anthony Schwartz, because I don't expect Jarvis Landry to be back. So then, you had 3 or 4 spots at receiver, and how do you go about filling those? And what, like I said, what body types you're looking for? You're looking for big, a possession guy. You're looking for a smaller, quick guy. And I think the Browns are kind of open to everything right now.
Yeah, that kind of – my guess is they'd try to get multiple guys. Go get yourself a big target. Go get yourself a guy that can run and kind of break down defenses and try to find as many different ways to threaten defenses with your wide receivers. Is that kind of the line of thought you had as well?
Yeah, I think so. And you look at who you have. You have Donovan Peoples-Jones as a bigger guy with some deep ability, but not really quickness or burst. You have Anthony Schwartz with the sprinter speed. So I think you kind of find guys with maybe particular skills that you can exploit. If it's Treylon Burks, who is a bigger guy, and you can do a lot of different things with them. Is it Chris Olave, who just flies, but probably isn't a go over the middle guy. He's not a big guy. You got to worry about from a physical holding up standpoint. I mean he's thinner than you'd like him to be. But yeah, you find the guys with special traits and then try to accentuate those positives and have enough well-rounded guys that the defense doesn't know exactly what you're going to do when you put a guy on the field.